I have been lucky enough to have known and been best friends with Jana for 19 years now. You will have to excuse me just a little bit. I'm super nervous. The only thing making me feel any better is that I know that Jana is far more nervous about me making this speech than I am. In fairness, I have 19 years of stories, so fair enough. I would like to start off by thanking the groomsmen for all of the hard work that they've put into this and for keeping Lauren calm and getting him here on time. Each one of these guys has been a true friend to Lauren through his life, and the time and commitment that they have put into this truly shows that not only to Lauren but to Jana, these friendships mean a lot to them. So to that, I would like to toast the groomsmen. The groomsmen. Don't worry, I'll be good. If you have had the pleasure of spending time with Jana, you know she is the kind of person who puts everything that she has into any relationship that she takes part in. You can be standing in a room with hundreds of people, and somehow she manages to make you feel like you are the only person that matters. For me, Jana has been one of the most important relationships I have ever had in my life. We have shared the happiest of laughter, the hardest of tears, and the best times that two girls could ever have. The day my daughter was born, Jana was there with me at the hospital, holding my hand and making me laugh, even through my contractions. That could have been the laughing gas, but I'm gonna go with Jana. She was one of the first people to hold my little girl's hand, and I will never forget the moment that she went from being my guardian to being my daughter's. There were also hard times. In 19 years, there were hard times too. When I was crying so hard that I could no longer stand, Jana was there to pick me up, brush me off, stand beside me, and move forward with me. I've also laughed the hardest with this girl. Even now, we share new giggles at the silliest of things, and she's one of those people that I can talk to for hours on end about nothing and everything, and we never get bored. Honestly, if I have laugh lines, it's her fault. Jana and I have always and will always have each other's back. From something as simple as on a night out, making sure that we're never alone when we're going to the bathroom for safety's sake. No gossip, just safety. To knowing that even when she doesn't agree with me or what I'm doing, she will proudly stand beside me as my best friend through thick and thin. Lauren, you are one of the luckiest men I know. Jana's love is true, strong, and unconditional. Thank you, Jana, for being you and loving me. You've given me the love, friendship, and the strong shoulder when I've needed it that only my angel can do. I love you, Jen.
So I first met Lauren many, many moons ago, actually in some of our first endeavors in the bar industry. Lauren was the bartender, I was the bouncer. Those were the days that we were young and foolish, and these are the days that we are bald and foolish. So we've had our times over the years, for sure. And it really is my honor today to be standing here. Over the last 5 years, Lauren and I's friendship has really grown to a point where I know I could call on him for absolutely anything that I ever needed. So it's a pleasure to be here standing next to him today. So don't worry, Jana, this is not leading into stories that are not appropriate. We actually talked the other day, and we agreed that the past really is best left in the past. So we'll just kind of leave all of that alone. So in lieu, I would like to share a story of one of the first times that I remember Mr. Collins courting the beautiful Jana. And so when Lauren had first mentioned her name, I kind of remembered who she was from Langley, and then, you know, when we stalked her Facebook, I actually saw who she was and remembered her a little bit more, but didn't know that this is where we'd end up 3 years later. And although I had oddly enough met her family through some business transactions, I quite admittedly selfishly asked if her dad still had the Maserati that we might get to borrow one day. So, you know, I had my own selfish interests at heart here too. So you see, Jana was away in Florida at the time, and so we had organized a bit of a New Year's Eve festivity. It was the New Year's Eve of 2010, and so Lauren had invited a bunch of people to the house, and so we were having a great time. But unbeknownst to us, our host kept disappearing. And you know, later that night, I found out that he had been sneaking off to speak to Jana all night and ignoring the rest of us. You know, we felt bad about that. But oddly enough, I guess the quietest room in the house actually turned out to be Austin's bedroom closet. So later I did find him hiding in the closet, and so it was at this point that I really recognized that Jana had already stolen his heart, and so, you know, it was good. But Lauren and Jana are definitely two peas in a pod, and some of the best times and memories that I think any of us here have shared have been, you know, sitting on a patio with a drink in hand and enjoying good times and good laughter and great food. And I think we had more of that tonight, which is really commemorative of who they are as a couple. And so it's great to be a part of that. Lauren is a natural born salesman. This is a man that has the gift of the gab, and for those of you that know Lauren, you can all attest to that for sure. He is a storyteller of all sorts, and there you go. We can hear that from some other people here today, and really he has been buying, selling, trading more than anyone I have ever known. So it's in his soul, and it's fantastic to see that. And I'm sure, Jim, you could tell stories of him doing that from a young age, right? You know, he probably buys, sells, trades more RVs, bikes, cars, boats, trucks, cars, you know, than most of us ever own in a lifetime. And I think part of that dynamic aspect of who he is really what has brought all of us to this room today, and it's those connections that have really brought us all together. And it's really been a pleasure over the last few years to watch his relationship with Austin grow. He is an amazing man, and he is an incredible father, and so I've been fortunate enough to witness that over the last few years and really see them grow as a father and son. So you know, it's Jana, you really have found an amazing man. He is a very dear friend of mine and of everyone else here today, and so it's a pleasure to be able to raise a glass to him today. And his big heart has really made him one of the most genuine men I know. So please stand with me right now and raise a glass to Lauren and Jana and this happy couple, and the beginning of what's going to be an amazing life together. So, cheers.
It's amazing the things that Lauren and I have gone through in this life, and he's been my rock. I'm very proud to be here tonight to see Jana with him. It just warms my heart. It really does. She's got a wonderful family that Lauren's been welcomed into, and Austin as well. And I knew from the day that I held him in my hand and he was first born that he was going to take after his dad and shoot for the stars. And I'm really happy to see that he's found his angel in those stars. And I want to raise my glass and hopefully you'll raise my glass as well. Salute to a wonderful couple and a long and happy life, which I know they'll have because they're soulmates together. Thank you, son.
We need to rewind a bit here. What went on in Austin's closet? So that's how it all started? Is that what you're telling me? That's how it all started. Huh? Honey, you have some explaining to do. Okay. For those that don't know me personally, both my lovely wife Linda are Jana's parents. And I want to thank everybody for coming here tonight because it's just a wonderful celebration of two great young people coming together as one. And I'm just excited to be here. And I know a lot of you have traveled many miles to be here. And again, it's very, very much appreciated. And by the way, honey, you look amazing. You look gorgeous. In all my years, I only saw one bride just as pretty, and that was about 37 years ago when we got married in Hawaii.
Brownie boy.
What's that mean? You say brownie points?
Yeah.
All right. Am I getting flushed? I've been given the honor of welcoming what I have written here, Jana's future husband, her present husband, into the family. But before I officially do, I want to just share a few moments with you. Jana, I promise you I will not say anything really too embarrassing, except maybe I can share that story where you were coming down the stairs with Ed Jackson. No? Can't tell it? No, it's okay. It's okay. I won't tell that story. I promise you. I've been accused of being long-winded. My colleagues who I work with not at all? Okay. I've been accused of having a poor memory. Yeah, okay. So what I really wanted to do tonight was have I really wanted to do it right, because it's probably the most important speech in a father's life is really, bringing, toasting the coming together of her and her new husband. So what I want to do is I want to get teleprompters. Like the president, President Obama, you can imagine the words are coming, I'm just going to stay on tack, going to stay true to form, and I'm not going to miss a beat, right? So I went to Jan and said, honey, I need this teleprompter. What do you think? She says, well, Dad, the budget's been stretched a little bit, so, we really can't have it. It's going to be a few $100s. I said, I can't have my teleprompter? And she goes, well, no. So I guess the wedding dress was more important. So, I guess in saying that, I guess these papers will have to do. So, let's get started. Jones, I promise you it's not going to be a half an hour, okay?
No worries.
Sorry?
Take your time.
All right. You should never have said that. This wedding is obviously a beautiful affair. A lot of planning went into it. And initially, I thought I wanted to get involved. If it's going to be done right, I really needed to be involved. What are you laughing at? I really need to be involved. And then, I quickly realized that it was probably better off not in my hands. Pardon?
Do you want a napkin? You're sweating.
Am I sweating? I brought a towel. Where is it?
Just try your hands.
No, actually, I did. See, here it is. It's either nerves or congested heart failure. We talked about that earlier, right, Doctor? So actually, I thought, okay, get me out of the picture. It's in good hands. It was in great hands with Rebecca, right? Amanda and Megan and you, Jonas, and everybody, and of course Linda, helped organize this wonderful thing. But I really wanted a little bit of input into this whole process, because after all, I'm the father of the bride, correct? Don't I deserve it? So I suggested a destination wedding. Why? Number one, it's cheaper, right? Makes sense, correct? So I'm sitting there and I'm going, destination wedding, and I'm getting all excited about it. And all of a sudden Jan says, no. Lauren goes, no way, no way. And I said, I can't believe this. I can't figure out such a great idea. I mean, who wouldn't want to be sitting with the sun beaming down, with the water lapping at their toes, saying their vows in beautiful Williams Lake? So the destination wedding was also, we were forced, not forced, but we decided to have the wedding here in this beautiful venue. As you know, Lauren knows everybody in the world. Is that correct? I mean, he is so well connected. He knows everybody. So we're looking at this list of names just growing and growing and growing, and Linda and I are sitting here talking, honey, this is getting kind of expensive here. So, well, with all Lauren's friends, we really want to have an open bar for you, but the bank wouldn't approve us for a $250,000 loan. And speaking about Lauren with all his friends, he has more buddies than Rick on Pawn Stars. That was pretty funny. Okay. Now this is a time in my presentation where, I'm not going to talk about Ed, but where I would normally talk about something embarrassing in Jenna's life. Really kind of, not humiliate her, but just kind of maybe, no, I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't do that. But just kind of, just say a story that would get everybody laughing. Make sense? Okay. Unfortunately, Jana, I can't do it because she was a perfect child. Jana, you spelled perfect wrong. And when I thought more about it, she has more ammunition on me, so I thought it best not to say that because, so I decided to call her truth. So in saying that, I want to tell you a story about where she embarrassed me, like, unbelievably. One day, we're in this video store, and she's about this tall, and we're looking at these bank of VHSs. Remember those VHS things, the big black square things? So we're looking at them, and all of a sudden we're looking at all the movies we're going to choose, and up at the top, and I don't know what they were there, but there were some videos with some women who didn't have any clothes on. You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, there's this little girl sitting here beside her father, and she looks at me, looks at my eyes, looks back, looks at my eyes, turns around, beelines to her mother, and says, Mom, Dad's looking at pictures of women with no clothes on. So, honey, it is true. But I wasn't looking at those pictures of National Geographic or Sports Illustrated or whatever it was, something like that. We are a very, very close family, very, very tight family. And it's suffice it to say that Linda and I are both very proud of the beautiful woman that Jen has become and all of her accomplishments, and we love her so very much. She is definitely a very smart young lady, and we're both delighted that she's obviously found someone who she obviously cares and loves very much. You're very, very lucky, honey. And so are you, Lauren. You need to know that. Now we're coming to you, Lauren. Okay? And I'm going to be serious for a moment. Every father hopes his daughter will find a reliable, sensible, and considerate partner as much as you try not to basically get involved in their lives and make decisions for them. Jen has found that in Lauren. He's a great young man. He's got incredible integrity. And most importantly, he loves my daughter unconditionally. So you couldn't ask for anything more. So at this time, I've got a little bit more. I'm not finished. But I just want to officially welcome you as a son in the family. You've got some brothers in the room now. You've got some aunts in the room, you've got some cousins in the room, but I also want to welcome Austin as our grandchild as well. So we've got a new son in the family, we've got a new grandchild. We're very, very proud of that. Now I'm going to tell you something, Dad. I'm going to prepare you so. I'm going to give you a little preparation for your married life. Are you ready for this? You know, I'm going to pass on some advice after 37 years of experience. 37 years of marriage. Oh. No. We're rewinding. Hold on 1 second. 37 years of the most exciting, blissful. You know I love you, honey, right? Okay. You know, I'm going to tell you. Okay, so here's the advice. There is no challenge in a marriage that can be overcome by one of the following. Okay? Number one is you need to say, yes, dear. Can you say that, Lauren? Yes, dear. Yes, dear. The one that works almost all the time. But the one that really works really almost all the time is I love you. So when you guys get into, maybe get a little tiff, a little battle going, as soon as you say I love you, it's going to melt her, I can tell you. Because it works every time. Well, maybe not every time. It works most of the time. Okay? But there's 5 single words that when said in the heat of the moment, when the channel, when you're sitting there kind of going at each other, and if you can remember these 5 words, you will have the most carefree, blissful marriage ever. Honey, you are absolutely right. Now you think about it for a moment. The heat of the battle, all of a sudden, you know what they get, you know what? It gets in the heat of the moment, and all of a sudden you sit there and that's how you diffuse the moment. Honey, you're absolutely right. Make sense? Have you got that? Another thing is that in the middle of an argument, you never go to bed in the middle of an argument. You stay up and you fight like a man. That's what you need to do. I mean, you might as well because you've lost anyway, so you might as well. And last but not least, no, actually it's not last but not least, but something I almost forgot, is that probably the most important thing in life is compromise when you're dealing with your better half. Isn't that correct? Compromise. Little this, little that. And what I want to do now is I want to get one of the biggest challenges you're about to face out of the way. You have a prized possession as a man. You know what that is? You don't, do you? It's something you worship. It's something you cherish. It's something that you can never, ever do without. And you're about to lose possession of it. And I went to your home. It's your converter, your TV converter. It is no longer yours. And you got it much better than I do because all you got to deal with is The Bachelor. I mean, when I was married, it was Oprah. I mean, I had to deal with Oprah. The PVR was being loaded with Oprah. So what I want to do now is I want to make it official because you're never going to have to fight about this ever again. And I'm going to, let me see what my note says. Okay. I'm going to take this over to you. And what we're going to do is we're going to officially do joint custody. How's that? I'll let you keep your hand on. Now that you're married, Lauren, your life is about to change. Boy, is it going to change. It will never, ever, ever, ever be the same. There was this great actor from many years ago. His name was Richard Burton. And he was married to one of the most beautiful women in the world, Elizabeth Taylor. You're now married to one of the most beautiful women in the world, Janet Collins. And what he said was, a woman accepts a man for what he is. Sounds good, doesn't it? But then she spends the rest of her life trying to change him. So Lauren, take one, no, actually not Lauren, everybody in the audience, take one last look at Lauren, because starting tomorrow, Jana's going to do her remodeling job. Now we're coming to the end. So last but not least, the most precious gift that a daughter's father can give is her, is her hand in marriage. What I want to do is just share one simple verse from a song that you're going to hear tonight. And that song is going to be, actually I'm glad I can't find it because it gives me a break to get my composure back. And it goes like this: but I loved her first, and I held her first, and a place in my heart will always be in hers. From the first breath she breathed, when she first smiled at me, I knew the love of a father turns deep. And I pray that she'd find you someday, but it's still hard to give her away. I loved her first. You take care of her, my friend. I love her.
I think we really wanted to say thanks to our bridesmaids and our groomsmen. I've had an opportunity in my life to be praised with the gift. I think of I think the word I use with a lot of people is it's an epiphany. You know, a lot of people may have a heart attack to realize this kind of thing in their lives, that people that love one another and treat each other with respect. It's really, really hard to find. And until you realize it, until you actually understand it, you have no idea. You might go through your life and not even realize it till you're on your deathbed. And I'll tell you something, that woman right there, and this one right there, and that guy taught me something different. And I really appreciate you guys. The entire Lightfoot family and everybody that is part of that clan, I swear, you guys are fantastic. You know, I'm still weaning out the old me a little bit, but I love you all, you know. I love all my friends and family for being here. You know who I am. And I love my bride. Yeah, what a great day.